Welcome to On Location, the real estate podcast where we talk about location as it relates to real estate. I'm your host, Rob Lobb, and today I'm going to do a 2024 wrap-up, and we'll kick off 2025. Before I begin, let me wish you a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year, and I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. And if this is the year you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, or otherwise making a move, then you've come to the right place. 2024 has come and gone, and we have some statistics available from the National Association of Realtors. According to their figures, the U.S. had lower sales of existing homes in 2024 when compared to prior years. In fact, that was the lowest sales since 1995. Now, I don't want to go too deep into the math, but that's nearly 30 years ago. Of course, everything cost less back then, and there are fewer people in the country. So that goes to show how low sales actually were. NAR has a nice article about this. It also mentions fax machines and VHS tapes. So if you're curious what those are, I'll link to it in the show notes. You may ask, why do existing home sales matter, or how much do they matter? Well, it varies depending on where you're located and how much new construction there is in your area. But generally speaking, existing home sales hover around 90% of the overall market. So as they go, so goes the market. Now, there are a couple of reasons for the slow sales, and you may well be tired of hearing about the interest rates, but they do still play a role. One often cited figure is housing affordability or buyer's affordability, which decreases as rates increase. I'd say 6 to 7% rates are the new norm at this point, and many buyers have adjusted their buying plans to compensate. What hasn't adjusted as much is the inventory. When we talk about sales of existing homes or resales of a home, these remain lower as the would-be sellers have locked in rates in the threes. This makes a move and refinance to 6 or 7% less appealing, and it locks up inventory. The higher rates also increase the cost for developers to build new housing, which that's the other component of total sales. And so both of these push down inventory. And if you break out your old Econ 101 textbook and look at your supply and demand chart, we see why that matters. Less supply relative to demand equals higher prices, or at least upward pressure on prices. Another factor I want to touch on briefly in terms of inventory and people making a move is the whole pandemic thing. Thankfully, in our rearview mirror at this point, but it did spur a lot of people to make a move ahead of their original plans. Moving out of the cities, moving to the suburbs, getting extra rooms to work from home. There were a lot of transactions during that time that likely would not have happened without the pandemic disruption. And now it's only natural that there will be a little bit of ebb and flow and a slowdown in the market after that. This has been the story for the past couple of years, but that may be shifting. There is some encouraging news both across the country and more locally in our San Francisco market. Nationally, existing home sales rose in December 9.3% from 1 year ago. Again, that's an NAR statistic. We also saw a similar activity uptick here locally, with surprisingly strong sales throughout the holiday season. What were you getting for the holidays? This was on top of a better year overall for San Francisco home sales, including all types, existing plus new construction. 2024 was a busier year with over 10% more transactions and 16.59% more sales than 2023. So these numbers do indicate an average sales price being higher as well, largely due to the low inventory. So here we are, 2025, and whether you're a buyer or a seller, an existing homeowner, future homeowner, or an investor, you're probably wondering, where is the market going? Well, we run the stats every week, and we also have a lot of boots on the ground. Our team has averaged well over one sale a week for the last decade, and we deal with all property types, including investment properties such as multifamilies and commercial. And primarily we deal with the residential market, which is what we have been discussing here and the focus of this show. This includes single-family homes, condominiums, CSEs, stock co-ops, etc. Because we're so active in this market, I can confidently say that what we're seeing is stronger sales pace to start off the year, and likely that will continue. These days everyone searches for properties online, and so we use professional photographers to make sure our clients' homes look their best. Just yesterday, I was out on a photo shoot preparing a listing. This one happens to be new construction. And I was chatting with the photographer, getting a sense of how busy they are. And no surprise, what they told me was that they're seeing the same amount of activity that we usually see in the spring. So here in San Francisco, the spring and fall markets are the two peak markets. Of course, the peak season will vary throughout the country. Your location might be different, but that's typically what we see here. So again, more anecdotal, boots on the ground kind of evidence that what we're seeing is a spring surge, more inventory coming this year. So I want to share that with you. I think it gives some insight that there's going to be a better opportunity to buy and sell. From a numbers perspective, so far, 2025 in our market, there are more new listings than a year ago and more transactions happening than a year ago. This is good for both buyers and sellers. For buyers, it means there's more to look at and a better chance of finding that home that you love or that income property that makes sense for your portfolio. More inventory could help affordability as well. For sellers, it means there's more active buyers and a better chance of bringing you a better price and or a faster sale. A lot of websites that automatically generate sales reports will tell you San Francisco is a seller's market right now, and that's not entirely wrong, but it comes down to, you guessed it, location. San Francisco, like any market, is very niche, and neighborhood to neighborhood, things do change. So I mentioned earlier that the average sales price is higher, but that's throughout the city and not necessarily throughout each neighborhood. So if you're thinking of buying or selling, reach out to us or your preferred real estate agent for a more detailed assessment in your market. Well, I hope you found this informative. It's great to kick off 2025, and I look forward to hearing your feedback as we go forward. If you have questions or suggestions for our next podcast, or if you found a particular part of this show helpful, please do get in touch. You can reach us at podcast@arionlocation.com. And to all of those who asked for a Benihana Paris review, yes, it is open. And yes, Melody has been there and she will get us that update. So until next time, good luck with your next move and thanks for listening.